Martha Stewart and Peter Bukanovic were sentenced to 5 months in prison earlier today. What will they face? Here to help us understand what it is like behind bars, we're joined by 3 people who have spent time in prison for white-collar crimes. We're waiting on Tara Lynn Norwood. She served 2 years, and she will be with us from Fresno, California. In the meantime, Nick Wallace served 6 years and is in Memphis, and Daniel Bubalo, who served 4 years, is in Dallas. Good to have you both with us.
Was this the Midtown Pizza?
Thanks, good to be here.
First, why don't you tell us the crime? Why did you both? Why were you in prison? Nick, why don't you begin?
Sure. I was president of ESM Government Securities in Fort Lauderdale, and this goes back to the 80s when the S&L crisis was going on. And in any event, my company was, and I, and many others along with me, were convicted of mail fraud, conspiracy. There was a $350 million loss involved. The state of Ohio had to shut down 17 S&Ls. So the judge promptly.
How would you characterize your facility? Was it a high security facility, medium, what?
High security facility?
Yeah. What kind of a facility was it?
We were a brokerage firm, Maria. We had our own office building right in the middle of downtown Fort Lauderdale, and it was not high security at all.
Nick, I'm referring to the prison you were in, not your brokerage firm.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I started off in a level 2-3, which is with a fence around it. That was Tallahassee, FCI. Then I was transferred to Federal Prison Camp Homestead, and then Federal Prison Camp Montgomery, Alabama, after Homestead was destroyed by Hurricane Andrew. So I ran the gamut in 6 years and 8 months.
Daniel Bubalo, you served 4 years. What was your crime? And tell us what you think Martha is going to be facing.
My crime was for securities fraud and related crimes with it, wire fraud, mail fraud, and conspiracy to commit securities fraud. And for that, I did the 4 years. As it relates to Martha Stewart, I think the thing that would serve her best if she does go to prison is to show some humility. That can go a long way in making your life easier behind bars.
How violent?
And I don't know if she has. I don't know if she has that in her.
How violent was your situation? Was there a lot of violence in prison?
There really wasn't the type of violence I think most people associate with prison. There are some disputes, there are some fights, but a lot of it is, I think people draw a lot of opinions from what they see on television and from Hollywood, and it doesn't really reflect, in my mind, what goes on behind bars.
What does go on?
Well, there's just the day-to-day monotony. Everybody has a job. Everybody works a 40-hour week. I worked 40 hours a week for 12 cents an hour, which was quite an adjustment. And each day is the same. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. Every day is the same. You get out of bed, you do the same thing every single day. And so it's much more demanding mentally than it is physically.
Nick Wallace, is that the way your time was as well?
Yeah, absolutely. The initial impact of your loss of freedom and the total, absolute humiliation and changing your lifestyle is traumatic. And I think that it takes, I wonder if Martha in 5 months will get a full flavor of just exactly how traumatic it is. It probably won't hit her until sometimes after that, but it's not fun.
Was there a lot of violence?
No, not even at Tallahassee, which is a higher security prison. The federal system is extremely well run, and so consequently violence is kept to a minimum. There's no sexual abuse, that sort of thing.
All right, we'll leave it there. Gentlemen, thank you for sharing your stories. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nick Wallace from Memphis, Daniel Bubalo from Dallas.